to Heroes of the Dorm.
Other teams just don't have the chemistry that we have.
You really have to be in sync with your team and know what everyone's doing.
I don't want to just win the region, I want to win the tournament.
Hello and welcome back to Heroes of the Dorm Atlantic Coast region. We are here with another amazing week of collegiate esports competition. My name is Paul Inverum Toddkill.
I'm Albert Halloran Haley III, but we'll also be joined later on once again by Brian the Source Mitchell. We like to call him the professor around here because he knows everything.
Let's see what he has in the notebook this week. Let's see what he's got in store for us. But speaking of that, we have an amazing show for you. But of course, Heroes of the Dorm. It is a competition where students are competing across North America, all for their chance to win fully paid college tuition, all by playing a video game. Heroes of the Storm by Blizzard Entertainment.
Here at Atlantic Coast Region, we also go behind the scenes to give you an all-access look at the journeys and stories of these teams. Right now, it's definitely crunch time for everyone participating in the tournament. It's week number 4 out of 5. This means anyone in the middle of the pack as far as their region goes is going to have one more opportunity past this week to turn things around, and anyone at the top is going to want to stay there.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the standings. This week, we're going to be talking all about Georgia Tech, the Ramblin' Rex. They are going up against Florida State University, the FSU Crablegs, in what is going to be an epic matchup. Both of these teams are currently undefeated, so there's a lot on the line to see who will come out on top and show dominance in this region.
The stakes cannot possibly be higher for either one of these teams. There are a lot of bragging rights on the line. Both of these schools have a deep and rich rivalry, so there's definitely going to be an edge and say, hey, we beat you at a critical moment in the regular season. That is going to be a sticking point for years between these teams.
That is going to be the case, and we are going to be talking to some of the players over on Georgia Tech. We're going to be talking to Erin Sue, hearing about her stories as well as that of the team as a whole. It's going to be really exciting to see how this storied history, these players, they've been playing together since middle school, and we're going to learn how that affects them in the game. That and more when we continue with Heroes of the Dorm, Atlantic Coast Region. Hello and welcome back to Heroes of the Dorm, Atlantic Coast Region.
Next up, let's meet Erin Sue, a member of the team over at Georgia Tech. Let's find out how her beginnings playing World of Warcraft for their brother has helped her out here in the Nexus at Heroes of the Dorm.
Way back when we first started using third-party programs to talk to each other, someone might be like, oh, there's a girl. When people are talking about gaming and stuff like that, you never think about a girl playing.
Probably a lot of stereotypes, I'm guessing, There's the stereotype of the gamer girl, and there's a lot of misogyny in the gaming community, and it kind of drives women away.
They might say something like, girls can't play as well, or, get off the computer and go do something you're actually good at.
There aren't many. That's the quickest way to say it. I know of one girl, at least in HOTS, who's on a pro team in China, and that is it.
I'm not quite sure if the disconnect is girls aren't interested in esports and stuff like that, or if they feel like they're not welcome. I think representation really helps people realize, hey, that person up there on screen is kind of like me, so I can do that. I think maybe if that happened more, it'd be not rare occurrence.
We're not defining her by she's a woman. We're saying, she's just another player on the team. She's another one of us that's been there.
I got into gaming because my older brother was playing World of Warcraft around when it came out.
When I started playing World of Warcraft, and she'll stand on the side and she'll just watch. In the beginning, she'll just watch. She'll watch for hours at a time. At 23, I'm working and I've got, the social life I have, and also play World of Warcraft, and I'm in this guild. And you gotta be committed to the raid schedule. You gotta play Monday through Friday, And so on Saturdays, you know, my friends are calling me, hey, let's go to the bar and hang out, meet some girls. I wanted to sort of balance the two, but I didn't want to drop what I had with the guild. So because she watched me play, she knew everything I had to do. She knew all my hotkeys, my role as a caster and a healer. I got this idea, like, well, can you play for me? So I can go to the bar. And to my surprise, I got back and everything was okay. I didn't get kicked from the guild and raid went well.
Because of that, I started getting into WoW, and then World of Warcraft is a Blizzard game, and Heroes of the Storm like pulls from all Blizzard games. That was like what really drew me into it. So of course, like growing up, playing all these games, you're like, oh, what if I could do one? I think the ones that I've been actually able to complete so far, one is on my own, and it was like this knockoff Pokemon game. And so you can throw one of 3 things, or you can run away. You can like try to catch it, and then I caught it, yay! When I first got this to show up and was able to, you know, press inputs and have things happen, it was like, it was amazing. Alright, so this is a game that I made in a group. We called it Rage Race, and it's kind of a Mario Kart knockoff. You start and there's like a timer and your position, and then you can run. There are actually parts along the track where you see like these little audience members will throw balls at you that will slow you down because they don't like you. And sometimes it'll hit you very far. I'm doing terribly right now.
Aaron is the most geared towards actually creating something out of their passion. And you know, it's like a little bit inspiring in that respect. Not a lot of us, and not a lot of people I know, like take what they do as a hobby and an activity and like, I actually want to be a creative in that department. I want to do something in the future with that. And you know, her success is pretty incredible.
She was the one that originally introduced us to HOTS, so I would say she played a pretty big role in that.
She sort of gathered us all together in the first place, so even though Matthew is a sort of designated shot caller, there wouldn't be a team without Aaron.
She is also one of the more competitive people once we get going. She'll start having more terse words about when we're doing things we're not supposed to.
Maybe we should have kept you on Kasha, I don't know. If you could please not walk into E, that'd be great. Back off, back off. Matthew, back off. I hate losing. I despise losing. I like winning a lot. So playing competitive is just like a struggle for me sometimes because I never want to lose. It's always trying to get that win at any cost.
In every metric that you could use for this, Aaron is not a part of the stereotype that girls are not gaming, girls don't know anything about the backlore of gaming.
I think a girl winning Heroes of the Dorm would really mean a lot. There's never been a standout player that's won something like Dorm. I feel like it could help normalize the whole thing a little bit.
For me, it would just be like incredible to win something like that. For the sport, I think would just like increase a lot of like representation, and for like girls watching, you know, they'll sort of be able to say, if she can do it, I can do it.
So there really aren't a whole lot of female players in this competition, but I really like the way that Erin approaches being the only girl on the team.
And what was really cool to me about that is that she's a gamer that just happens to be a girl. In a lot of ways, I feel like she embodies the trifecta of gaming. First, she starts out playing World of Warcraft with her brother when she's younger. She's grown up now, and she's participating in Heroes of the Dorm, an esports competition. And she's taken it a step even further than that. Now she's making and developing her own games. Ton of respect for that.
Knowing how games work inside and out is definitely going to be an edge in this competition. We also sat down with the rest of the team over at Georgia Tech. That and more with what they have to say when we return with Heroes of the Dorm, Atlantic Coast Region. Hello and welcome back to Heroes of the Dorm Atlantic Coast Region. We sat down with the team over at Georgia Tech to learn a little bit more about their unique mindset when it comes to Heroes of the Storm.
Let's find out how their confidence and aggressive play style allows them to define the term getting wrecked.
Getting wrecked.
it is when Georgia Tech completely decimates the competition.
1, 2, 3, right! As a team, we go back pretty far. We all went to the same high school and middle school too.
Definitely had a long history going on there. We were all sort of in the academic bowl, high Q orientation together.
You're out there as a team of 5 and they ask questions. It's like Team Jeopardy is how I'd say it.
It's basically nerdy trivia. They'll give a long clue about some book, and then at the end they'll ask, who wrote this book?
There's a local program around here called High Q. Yeah, we were on that a couple times.
From the studios of WSB TV, this is Channel 2's IQ.
I remember this one tournament we went to, they gave away these like really weird prizes, like some guy just got like a box of old stuff.
Must have come from some teacher's glove compartment in a car.
Like old cassette tapes and like a CD to the Armageddon soundtrack.
Which is, you know, great. We absolutely get a lot of mileage out of cassette tapes these days.
But then senior year, like, we got a really good coach and like everything kind of fell into place.
Wrath of the Lich King sold 2.8 million. Penel.
World of Warcraft?
Yes, that is correct. Extension of World of Warcraft. Well done.
By senior year, we were 3rd in state, so that was pretty nice.
What is this? Yes, Chib.
Grapes of Wrath.
Grapes of Wrath. Yes, Penel.
Mayan.
The Mayan calendar, that's correct.
It was cool being in front of the cameras and winning.
Things have changed, but we still know how to play together as a team from those days.
They got 10, be careful. Zach, leave now.
We going up?
Everyone watch out.
Meet him.
Guys, come on, someone.
I got him.
We've been playing Heroes of the Storm for a couple of years now, I'd say.
I think when it came around that Heroes of the Dorm was going on ESPN, they're like, ooh, that sounds cool.
Oh, watch the guillotine, nerd!
And there was a convenient 5 of us, just right for a team. We're all interested. We like this game. Let's just try it.
We can do this. It's 5v4.
We get up.
Just dive the fort. They're flying up to the boss. So watch out, Zach.
I remember at first we were kind of like not really sure if like we were good enough to play, and we ended up like not doing well.
You know, in our first tournament, we barely had enough heroes to complete a draft.
Nope, they're gonna dive me. I'm not dead. Oh my god.
We were all relatively still getting used to things, pretty new at it, so we kind of got thrashed.
Oh, no.
Oh, get her. Oh, she was almost dead.
I think that's helped us keep our cool over all these years. We know how to lose but stay together.
Oh, who died? Oh, Matthew, you're off the team. Bring in the sub.
And now we really have a handle on how the game works and what to do, and that makes it more fun.
We've just gotten, you know, better and better over the years, and it's like now it's becoming less of a hobby and more like we can actually do this competitively.
Our history hasn't been incredible, so we're kind of excited to be winning so far right now.
I thought he would have popped. He didn't pop.
I feel like it would mean a lot for us to win the regional championships because it would mean we beat FSU, who's like the big name in this region.
We watch ACC football, so it's cool that we get to thrash ACC esports teams.
Oh, I got gold ammo. Kill that.
I think our team goal is really to make it into the round 64 and just, you know, keep winning.
We've done fairly well against the newer teams, and I'd like to see where we go from there.
We're doing well right now, and we're really thinking that might be able to pull out some victories that might not be expected.
We got it, guys.
Yeah, we won. We beat her.
Yes.
I think if we won the whole tournament, I'd have to pinch myself to wake up.
It would mean a lot of good things for Georgia Tech and its esports program, so I'd be happy about that.
For this to be the final thing we do in the final semester of ours, to have that confetti falling with all of us up on the stage, I mean, that would just be a monumental cap. There's not going to get any better than that.
Trash talking from minute 1. I love it. That kind of energy is infectious, and it is clear that this team has been friends for quite a while.
To me, this team embodies both camaraderie and determination. A lot of teams that enter Heroes of the Dorm feature freshly formed friendships where they're seeing each other for the first time. This is a team that's been friends since middle school. Having that kind of coordination and camaraderie is going to be a huge advantage for them. I also love their determination. When they first started playing Heroes of the Storm, they didn't exactly do that well. But they've managed to turn things around. They've improved as a team, and now they have the ability to trash talk because they're feeling very confident. I love that kind of play.
Well, they're going up against their opponents who are also 3-0, so they're going to need all the confidence they can get up against Florida State. When we return, Braun the Swords Mitchell will join us with Heroes of the Dorm Atlantic Coast Region. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, my name is Zach. I'm spicy on the team. I'm cooking up a great pregame meal to absolutely annihilate Florida State tonight. Making some stuffed poblano peppers. Watch out, Anthony Bourdain. This is going to be a hell of a night. The first measure of success is a strong dinner before the actual game itself. If this doesn't pull through, I'm going to take the full blame for the defeat. But, you know, when we win, it is going to be my meal which carried us to victory. I enjoy doing this a lot. I like cooking for a lot of people. And, you know, I definitely enjoy cooking things that are quite spicy. That's where the nickname comes from. Who's the best cook on the team? Well, it's gotta be me. The boys can cook some great stuff, there's no doubt, but it's me in every metric, I'd have to say. An absolute delicious mess that is purely designed to fill you up and ruin any white pants or shirts that you have. They voted for this. This is what the masses wanted. It looks absolutely delectable. Lots of cheddar cheese, plenty bubbling. If this doesn't destroy your mouth and your intestines about 12 hours later, I don't know what will. Yeah, we're gonna go serve the people. There's some good stuff. It is quite hot, like temperature-wise.
Just finished eating dinner. Zach has made us dinner over there. Dinner was pretty tasty. I really enjoyed the stuffed peppers. So we're in the fourth regional game so far in the Atlantic Coast region. We're playing FSU. This is to determine who's going to be the #1 seed going into the regional championship.
We're going to execute our strategy, and we're going to beat these crab-leg-eating Floridians. All right? Wreck on 3. 1, 2, 3, wreck!
Hello and welcome back to Heroes of the Dorm Atlantic Coast region, where we are joined now by the one and only Braun the Source Mitchell. Thanks so much for being here.
Glad to be here. Excited for the games we have ahead.
You've come in at the right time because the games we have lined up could very well define the rest of the regular season for the Atlantic Coast region. Right now, we have 2 undefeated teams in Georgia Tech and FSU. Whoever comes out on top here could very well end up at #1 at the end of the regular season.
Yes, indeed. Let's see if Georgia Tech's plays are going to be as spicy as Zach's cooking. Let's hop into these rosters and take a look at these teams. You're kind of familiar with them, but let's talk about it a little bit more. Starting out with Florida State. Haloran, who are these players?
Issa, a strong Warrior player, is definitely used to making plays for their team. Shambulance, that Ramir Cat, and Champ. This has been a very strong lineup. We featured them in Game 1, and they've been steady throughout the whole regular season.
Yeah, this is a squad with a lot of capability to make big plays, but they've done a very good job of minimizing their own mistakes.
Over on the other side, we have Georgia Institute of Technology, the Ramblin' Rex. We got a chance to talk with them today, and this is one of the more unique stories because we don't often get teams who know each other this well.
Yeah, these scrappy upstarts also feature a very aggressive play style. Their motto is pretty much get kills and don't die. So I think they're definitely going to be able to take the fight to FSU. I don't think they're going to be intimidated at all.
Yeah, and knowing each other well builds in a really great level of synergy that one you rarely see, takes a lot of time to develop, and can also help teams kind of get through some of the harder points in the middle of a match.
Yes, indeed. So we saw those icons on the screen there, those player roles. Let's break those down a little bit more here, just in case you're not totally familiar with the roles here in Heroes of the Storm. So an assassin, they deal high amounts of damage, either in short bursts or over long, sustained periods of time. They are the ones trying to get the takedowns for your team.
And then there's my personal favorite role, Warriors. These are the guys that like to set up big plays, they like to go in, get stuns, isolate enemies, and make things happen, but they also take a lot of damage to hold things up.
Yeah, and then you have the supports, the ones who keep everybody alive by providing healing, defensive capabilities, and also just trying to keep their team safe in general.
Last but not least, we have the specialist role. It's a little more diverse cast of characters here in Heroes of the Storm. They tend to focus on doing different objectives like pushing and really playing off of those maps. Speaking of maps, let's talk about our battleground here for this game. It is going to be Dragonshire. Braun, take us through what makes Dragonshire so special.
So Dragonshire is an oldie but a goodie. It's one we've had for pretty much the entirety of Heroes of the Storm. It is a 3-lane map, but with a heavy amount of rotation through that middle and bottom lane, that small triangle you see there made out of brush. Teams will rotate back and forth there to get control so they can get those beacons and pick up the Dragon Knight, using that to siege as well as to set up massive team fights.
What's really cool about this battleground, at least in the earlier portions, there are a lot of scraps, a lot of 2v2s, and I think that's going to accentuate the strengths of both of these lineups. I'm excited to see how this game plays.
Yes, indeed. Let's hop into this match. FSU up against Georgia Tech. Haloran, take us away.
Number 1 spot on the line. This is going to be a big game for the Crab Legs. Issa's on Meriden, Chambulance is playing Tracer, that is on Malfurion, Ramir Kat's on Jaina, and Sonya is going to be played by Champ.
Yep, and over on the other side, we have the members from Georgia Tech. It's going to be Blue Pumpkin on the Maiev, Spicy on the Probius, ARJ on the Chromie, Flying Kitty on the Ariel, and Future Martel will be on the ETC.
Definitely a spicy draft indeed coming out for the side of Georgia Tech. Probius, Maiev, what is this draft?
I don't know how they got the Maiev in any iteration of reality, specifically because of how strong we have seen her to be. That's also riding Pleb Horse, so she's riding the starting mount. There's so few games on this hero that because people just don't let it through draft.
I'm really excited to see how this goes, though. I think it's a gutsy play. You're both undefeated in the region, and you hang your hat on Probius. This is a gutsy, confident display of power in their draft, and I think it can really work out for them with the siege push.
I also love the fact that they denied that ETC from Issa. We have seen how dominant Florida State can be with that hero. And speaking of dominance, Chambulance once again on a play-making DPS hero as that Tracer. Really loving the Overwatch heroes from Chambulance we've seen in this competition.
I'm really liking the early aggression. We see FSU trying to establish things going into this early game. They want to dictate the pace, try to force back that Probius so they can't sit up and get that siege pressure.
Yeah, but this is one of the few maps where Probius is going to have some space to work with, although we see a lot of pressure on this ETC. He's gone.
That Pulse Bomb from Tracer doing work so far in that early game, and that is really the threat of this composition. They have so much burst damage with Meriden, with Jaina, with Tracer. If Malfurion can be there with the roots to follow up, that is tough. Because the side of Georgia Tech is a little bit squishy. They do not have massive health pools.
Yeah, right now we see FSU starting to apply their foot to the accelerator, and things do not look to be slowing down at any point. It's going to be up to Georgia Tech to try to turn things around, keep a level head, try to find a takedown themselves, and swing things back in their favor.
They're not very far behind when it comes to experience. They have plenty of space to be able to do that. ETC and Maiev is going to be a big one for them. Find those picks. Use that Umbral Bind into a power slide, set that up. The Probius is an interesting pick because this is one of the few maps where we have a hard laning phase for at least one lane where Probius is going to be able to set up and do his job. I just wonder how they're going to get a massive amount of value out of that because Sonya won't really die to Probius, so he's going to need help.
Yeah, I feel like Sonya is going to be controlling that top lane for quite a while over the objective. So I feel like Georgia Tech's going to have to find value and make plays on another portion of the map. Future Martel and ETC is going to have to rotate down here potentially. Blue Pumpkin gets the stun from Issa, allowing Meriden to back away. No sign of a takedown in sight.
Probius is actually doing a surprisingly good job up there, and as well here in the bot lane, Georgia Tech is pushing forward that aggression like we were talking about, trying to get the takedown on Malfurion, but oh, Blue Pumpkin, nice juke there, dodging out on that Blizzard. Beautifully done from them, and they're actually able to control this, and look at almost get a DK.
They're going to swing things back in their favor. I was just saying that Sonya's going to have a pretty easy time hanging on to that top lane. Spicy said, I got a thing or two to say about all that. Really applying the pressure there. I'm surprised to see both of these shrines, at least for the moment, controlled by Georgia Tech. But as confident as they're playing, I don't think they're surprised at all.
They should be able to hold top shrine. The Probius matchup is an unconventional one. Sonya won't die, but Probius really won't do more than control the zone. The real issue I think that Georgia Tech is running into is that Future Martel is being stuck in this middle lane and is going to go down again.
Issa with another beautiful rotation. Every single time that Pulse Bomb has come up, it has been resulting in a takedown. Nicely done there from the side of FSU. They are really controlling the pace. That's something we were talking about this map. Controlling that pace through the mid, these rotations, is crucial for a win here on Dragonshire.
With everything on the line in the Atlantic Coast region, this is the kind of momentum you want to establish if you're on the side of FSU. Spicy could potentially find themselves under pressure. Shambulance has been an absolute terror this entire game. He jumps in. There's the stun from Champ as well, but Spicy's able to escape.
Yeah, not enough damage there to finish off the Probius. Probius, again, should be fairly safe. But the point I really think we need to hone in on is how this bottom lane is being set up and how the middle is set up. Maiev really wants to play with ETC. Without that, we can see she can't finish off any individual target, but here he comes.
ETC is here at the rotation nicely. Jobber Meerkat's in a tough position. There's the takedown, beautifully executed from them. Issa is very low as well. Blue Pumpkin lived just long enough. The bait was there. ETC made the rotation, and that is the takedown they needed to get themselves back in this game.
Georgia Tech's motto is get kills. They managed to do exactly that about 4 minutes in this game. Definitely start to establish themselves. I feel like they need that proof of concept to show that they can be aggressive and they can be on that.
Oh, dang it! Oh, I'm alive. Oh, I shouldn't be alive there. They should have killed me.
They got very close with Blue Pumpkin. Blue Pumpkin, you know, was able to do things well, but here comes another engagement from Shambulance.
Going in there onto the Chromie. She's the lowest health pool in this bottom lane, and there's the Pulse Bomb. Not sure there's anything they're going to be able to do about that until Flying Kitty gets that Crystal Aegis to be able to protect her allies. They are going to struggle against this Tracer. We're seeing it there. I love the focus fire there, isolating that low health target, getting that takedown. FSU is looking solid.
Forget Shambulance. The members of Georgia Tech need an ambulance because every time he gets a bomb, somebody's hitting the deck. It paves the way for the first Dragon Knight of the game. A huge objective, huge momentum swing. FSU have to feel good right now.
There's still plenty of space for them to control. This isn't early Dragon Knight. It's only 5 minutes into the game. Blue Pumpkin will do more than enough damage to do this. Flying Kitty will be there to be a consistent battery. But that is what you do with the Dragon Knight. You kick the damage dealers away, and sometimes you can even kick them into your team. This advantage will at least guarantee that the members of FSU get to that 10 mark, get to those heroics first. But once those heroics start to come in, you always have to be worried about what Blue Pumpkin is going to be able to do once the damage starts to stack up.
Yes, indeed. That heroic talent here at level 10 is going to be a big deal here for both of these squads. You know Georgia Tech wants to play safe until they get that. Once you see that mosh pit, once you see that follow-up onto that, it's going to be very tough. We've seen how dominant FSU can be with it. But that being said, Blue Pumpkin is playing this Maiev on the edge.
Yeah, the newest hero into the game is definitely going to make plays, and it's going to be a required asset if Georgia Tech wants to turn things around. This Dragon Knight is still alive, so maximum amount of value, but it's serving as a nice distraction. To get level 10, they're able to apply pressure down in the bot lane and get themselves a heroic tier advantage.
How this Maiev is going to be played, you say it's being played on the edge. It's being played for maximum battery potential. So when we say the battery, Flying Kitty is playing Ariel. She can heal more on that character depending on how much damage is being dealt by the ally she puts a crown onto. If Blue Pumpkin is maximizing the DPS, which is what this build from Blue Pumpkin is pretty much looking to do, maximize that frontline Fan of Knives combo, if it's there, they may be able to keep their team alive permanently. The moment that it falters, it can all fall apart.
Speaking of falling apart, we see Future Martel getting jumped on in the mid lane, but tanky enough to survive for now. There's the Umbral Bind pulling it back, but a beautiful escape. No! Jaina actually going to fall here. The Ring of Frost was not quite enough. ARJ on that rotation. Beautifully done there from the Chromie. Both of these teams have a dominant backline mage, and we saw the power of Chromie in that engage.
With a map like Dragonshire, rotation is going to be so important. Beautifully played.
Dang it! Oh, she is not using her. All right, I'm having to go back. I cannot believe I'm not dead. I've said that several times this game, and I feel like I'll say it again. Oh, you got him? Ooh, watch out, Tracer coming down. All right, I'm gonna take Pylon.
Sonya went leap.
Of course she did. It's gonna suck a lot.
On Sonya, the Twilight Dream, I'm really worried about how quickly the members of Georgia Tech are going to be able to react to that much engagement crowd control.
I think the big thing here is really going to be how can they fight when they have 5 and the opposing team has 4. Can they get that pick with Chromie? Can they get their damage all onto the same page? That is going to be crucial. How does Chromie fit with Probius. These are two heroes that we don't often see play together. How is that synergy going to work? But speaking of Probius up in the top lane, Champ getting that takedown.
Champ is going to go in ahead and turn Spicy into Sour with another takedown to favor FSU. 4-2, by the way. But level 13 is around a corner for the team in blue. That could be another talent tier advantage. Shambulance rotates down, could potentially have that bomb available. This is a powder keg that could explode.
Ooh, it's a 50-50 on the floor. Maeva's going to go in, but this is two separate fights.
This is two fights indeed. The Mosh getting a lot of value in the backline, though. Chromie able to stay alive as Malfurion does fall here. We see the Crystal Lee just keeping Shambulance, or sorry, keeping ARJ alive as Shambulance falls as well. That is 3 takedowns for none right now. Future Martel splitting that fight beautifully. Chromie able to stay alive. That was crucial for that fight.
A war fought on two fronts decidedly goes over to Georgia Tech in convincing fashion. It makes me feel really good about their chances going into this mid-game. They now have the opportunity to catch up on experience, potentially come away with the Dragon Knight, and create a snowball situation that FSU could have a hard time recovering from.
Yeah, first Dragon Knight in their favor. Champ might have been able to actually stall that one out, so that's a minor miscalculation by the members of FSU. But Blue Pumpkin didn't need to use the heroic in the middle of that fight, was dishing out significant damage. That is part of the combo, that high damage output. We didn't see Flying Kitty there next to the Maev to be able to soak up all of that additional healing value. But we saw how much damage it can do there. Issa already at half. All it took was one Umbral Bind and a little bit of follow-up between Blue Pumpkin and ARJ.
This push in this bottom lane is actually huge right now. This DK, the Dragon Knight, if it can get this push into this bottom lane, that is massive because it sets up all the pressure with these mercenaries. Blue Pumpkin is going in, trying to make a play there, but the silence with that Twilight Chain is getting a lot of value here. Malfurion is getting kicked away, though, denying the healer in this fight. They want this bottom four. This is a very slow fight, all things considered. Future Martel, though, is going to look to change that with a big power slide. Shaman's actually getting caught by that damage from Chromie. That is uncommon. But the Malfurion has rejoined the fight. They're going to look to take this lore, and they're going in.
Georgia Tech really wanted that bottom four. They ultimately come away with it at what cost, though? Right now, they're looking very healthy. So this gamble, this decision.
Zach, I would be scared.
Zach, back off. Back off hard.
Back off, back off.
I'm coming. The minute I stop seeing Tracer, that's when I panic mode.
Now what?
Watch out. Tracer's probably going down to you guys. Yeah.
Way the wave clear, so the Dragon Knight was able to tank up the fort long enough for a second wave to show up. Dragon Knight goes down, they have the minions there to back them up, they take down that fort, gain themselves a small advantage. Really, they're making the comeback from the initial takedowns they gave up, plus the pressure that was in the middle and top.
Yes, indeed. They're pushing it as well in this bottom lane. The power slide, the follow-up is there, but a great route to split the fight. Ring of Frost not really connected. Actually going to connect onto ETC there. Left out in the cold so far, though. Future Martel somehow surviving through that. The healing from Flying Kitty looking solid. And despite a lot of abilities being dropped there, everybody's still pretty healthy so far in this fight. And here we go. They are going in onto this backline. Miami's going to try and land the damage. ARJ on the Chromie as well. They have found the Jaina, and that is going to be the takedown.
Yeah, that ice block actually just put Jaina in a compromising position. It was very easy for Future Martel to just time that power slide the moment they came out. That was going to be a rough progression of events. And with his Bruiser Camp still moving down his bottom lane, Georgia Tech could definitely make things happen here.
Yeah, this is a slow roll pressure from the members of Georgia Tech. They've been able to set themselves up, a lot of this off of how much individual pick potential Maev sets up, and then follow-up you get from the ETC. He doesn't have to be the first one in there. They're able to kind of set that up from range. Now we're going to see Spicy get some siege value up in the top lane. The experience advantage is leaning towards Georgia Tech. FSU is by no means out of it, but they have not had a coordinated leap into Twilight Dream combo.
I really like that Spicy's just been hanging out up top. He's been sending postcards every now and again to get the latest update on how the rest of the map's going. But Champ and Shambulance said, we got a message for you too. Express delivery, another takedown for FSU.
A bit of miscommunication, uncharacteristically so for Georgia Tech, not letting Probius know that a rotation was coming up his way in that top lane. Back up, be careful, the opponents are on their way. Some of that basic communication, with a team that's been playing there this long, sometimes it actually slips through the cracks because you're like, oh, obviously they know it's coming, but sometimes you need to explicitly say that here, and it costs them as level 16 is going to be here.
Oh, no! Leave me alone, Tracer. Leave me alone. Oh, she missed. She's garbage tier. I am the greatest Probius of all time.
That Sonya, okay, there's going to be the first timeout. We'll see if this follows up. Huge rows are going down.
Yes, indeed. The fight's going. The Twilight Dream getting quite a bit of value in the backline as well. Sony is spinning onto Blue Pumpkin, but Future Martel is trying to isolate the squad in the backline, just taking so much damage, though. Shameless is showing the fight, splitting the team once again. Blue Pumpkin not able to get the damage off that they need. Future Martel is going to try and escape, but Chamberlains with this pressure is just too much to deal with. There's the Crystal Aegis as well. They're going in. I think Ariel might fall.
Retreat is the call, but it's not going to save Ariel. Blue Pumpkin, Future Martel, and ARJ can only watch their support go down after that consistent pressure. Chamberlains just missed that bomb. They didn't even need it to get the takedown and the upper hand in that team fight. This could be the way they get another Dragonite in this game.
FSU rotates Sonya in. They make her a part of the fight. They're able to set up that takedown. It was long. It took a long time to actually finish off that play, and we can see where a whole 5v5 combo from the members of Georgia Tech could result in a better fight for them. But again, Probius pressured up in the top lane, is going to be chased by the Tracer a little bit, but will survive.
Frickle my frackle.
All right, we just need to stay on this.
It's okay.
Oh
I'm
my
alive.
God,
We're
Zach
all good.
lived. Should I go soak mid? Clear it?
Yeah. All right. So what's going to happen is I'm going to containment to someone, and then we're going to kill them immediately after. You ready?
I'm not there yet.
Tracer's there.
Tracer's
going behind us. Guys.
Nope.
Oh my God.
Just back off. Sam might be dead.
It's fine. I'm alive.
That's not good. That's not okay.
That was really good.
I mean, could have worked better.
Drop top deck.
If we had actually killed someone.
All right, so they're gonna get this. They're gonna get Fort, maybe Keith.
You would have maybe expected Probius
Should I come back to
been
defend?
able to find a little bit more value, but there has been constant pressure from FSU to pick him off every once in a while and to put pressure on the rest of the team fight. What's important to note, though, is the ice block from Jaina and the ice block from Malfurion. The side of FSU is countering out the very, very high win rate pick potential you get out of a Maiev. When she hits that Umbral Bind, that tethering black light cord that links up between the two heroes, that allows her to pull them in. Every time they use that ice block, it breaks the bind. And that has allowed them to be able to stop being engaged on and be able to stabilize themselves.
Heads up decision making from FSU is employed here. We see the middle fort go down, and then Tracer with the Dragonite rotates down bottom to establish the foothold in this lane. They're going to turn their eyes towards this keep after this bottom fort falls. Champ did join the party though. Probius is down here as well.
Yes, indeed. We'll see how Georgia Tech does here with Probius joining the party. Going to be able to weaken the opponents and dish out an incredible amount of damage here. Probius, he may be just a little robot, but he can dish out the pain here. But with level 20 around the corner, Georgia Tech might be in a little bit of trouble here. Once level 20 is reached, they get those Storm Talonteers, FSU is going to be on a whole other level.
Yeah, it's always a difficult way in how you play the timing around level 20. This is a map, though, where there is a little bit more leeway. We're going to see the Dragonite slowly being taken down, but the members of FSU, they got maximum value out of that. Question will be whether or not Georgia Tech can start to play around their mercenaries a little bit more, which we have not seen a lot of in this game. Both teams are doing them now, and how they find an opportunity to get Malfurion and Jaina to use their ice blocks so that Maiev doesn't have to be the one to force them to use that resource.
This is a critical moment in this game. Once level 20 is picked up, that's going to be a huge power spike for FSU. I really feel like the time is now for Georgia Tech to try to make something happen, get a takedown, go for a fight, because that talent tier advantage is going to be something to be worried about.
Yes, indeed. This is huge. With level 20 here, FSU has a massive advantage when they can get that. Don't forget, both of these teams are undefeated. This match is hugely important here in Heroes of the Dorm, the Atlantic Coast region. The winner of this match will come out on top, remaining in that undefeated position, controlling that title. Both of these teams want to take it here, but Spicy is being taken down in the top lane.
Another rotation is going to net another takedown. Spice has been hanging out in his top lane for the large portions of the game and has kind of been caught off guard a number of times. At some point, they've got to make adjustments.
Yeah, this is a massive push, though, in the bottom lane. This will at least draw some of that pressure away. If they're able to get this wall, possibly even get the keep, we can see a massive turn in favor of the members of Georgia Tech. They've just been getting rebuffed every time they set up massive plays because Sonya rotates in faster, and she is on the way.
Yes, indeed. Maiev is actually going to miss that heroic. They're not going to have that for this fight. Chamberlain taking a lot of damage to start things off, though. FSU wants to fight this. They have level 20. They're going on the Flying Kitty, finding the support in the backline. This takedown, that is deletion right there, as ETC is going to fall as well. FSU perfectly on point with this damage, and there's nothing they can do. Georgia Tech is falling apart.
As it so turns out, it looks like FSU knows how to define getting wrecked as well. A huge team fight and the team in favor for the team in blue. ARJ is just staggering out deaths. Finally gets taken down after that timeout. I really feel like the decision to hang out there in the bottom lane as level 20 was getting picked up was a risky gamble, to say the very least. Didn't pay off.
The play was slightly mistimed. However, had they been able to get a takedown, that would have opened things up for them, and that's what they were really looking for. But again, the members of FSU, they've learned how to play around this Maiev. They're not allowing ETC to find another mosh pit. You cannot hit them with the same play more than once. They adapt very, very quickly.
That is definitely, I think, the biggest point here to talk about with FSU. They have adapted wonderfully. Every single thing that Georgia Tech has thrown at them, they've been able to counter and respond to. It was a very even early game, but sort of, well, like, oh, we got your playbook, we figured it out, and they started running their own routes, and things started to go a lot better. That being said, level 20 has now been reached for Georgia Tech, or will be in just a second. This is their chance to fight back.
The Ramblin' Rex backs are against the wall right now. This could potentially be the last stand, and they're not even at a full force yet. Chromie will be alive in a few seconds, but at 19 minutes, this Dragonite is going to hurt. A nice punt there. There's the pull. Blue Pumpkin forces out the ice block on the Malfurion, but the damage is starting to overwhelm. Malfurion is the first to fall.
Yes, indeed. They're going in. Their champ is falling as well. The defense is starting to hold, but the Dragonite is going onto the core here. Look at this. HP is going down. Tracer in that Dragonite is focusing on just winning that game. Going for kills was not enough for Georgia Tech as FSU takes the win.
Time and time again, we saw FSU rotate up. They were able to take down Spicy. They were able to rotate and send Sonya down to have the upper hand in team fights. It really paid off for them, but I do have to commend Georgia Tech. It is a gutsy choice to take Probius with something like this on the line week 4 when you're undefeated. That is not a hero we see very often. I like the confidence in that decision.
Yes, indeed. This was the matchup for all the marbles. Props to both of these teams. Let's actually take a look at the highlights of that match, the play of the match here between FSU and Georgia Tech, and it all comes down to that pick right there onto Kitty Cat and Oriole. That team synergy from FSU was just too much to deal with.
This was the instance where I really feel like Georgia Tech overstayed their welcome. Level 20 is a huge power spike for the composition that FSU picked up. To hang around in this bot lane, to be in a position where you could be forced to take a team fight, is definitely the play of the match because that decision defined the game.
Yes, indeed. Nicely done there from the side of FSU. They played as standard as you can go, and across the board, Georgia Tech played it more unconventional, but that is what we love to see here at Heroes of the Dorm. Team pulling out strategies that we don't often see. We're going to hop onto a short break, but we'll be right back with more Heroes of the Dorm Atlantic Coast region when we return.
I made one or two aggressive strategic errors, and this is something that I continue to need to work on, especially because I'm usually up in that solo lane all by myself, and you know, if this is just something that's very easy to understand, it's very easy to play against.
We did a really good job against FSU. Like, I was prepared for this to be a lot more of a beatdown than it was. FSU's made around a 64 and further pretty consistently and play an open, and we don't. So going from like sophomore year where I think we won a single game at a local tournament that we were playing in, to now when we have only lost one match, I think we've gone a really far way since then.
Welcome back to Heroes of the Dorm Atlantic Coast region, where Florida State just took down Georgia Tech in a fairly convincing fashion here. Braun, sometimes playing standard works.
There's a reason we have a meta. They were able to play a good standard game. They played with a lot of synergy. It was an impressive show.
But this is only week 4 out of 5 for the regular season. There's one more to go. On next week's episode, we're going to feature Virginia Tech and maybe even find out what a Hokie is.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen next week when we return. Of course, this is all leading up to the round of 64 and the postseason. We'll see you all next week when Heroes of the Dorm Atlantic Coast region returns.